prep my new composition notebook journal with me. This is a blank slate. I am always excited to start a new composition notebook, but before I start using the pages, I like to prep it. I don't do a whole lot to prep. You can cover the front and back if you so choose. I like to add some designs, some elements to the cover. I don't usually cover the whole thing. I use some rub-ons, some stickers, tape, and then on the inside I will make a pocket on this front cover. I will take out pages. This composition notebook journal is one signature, and so it is sewn in the middle. So what I will typically do is take out pages from both sides of this, and I make sure that if I tear out this page, that it takes out the page from this side. That way I don't risk losing pages later. Now, one of the most important things that I will say about a composition notebook is to get one that is made in Vietnam. This way you will guarantee that this paper has a coating that will allow you to hold a lot of wet media. It holds a lot of paint, holds watercolor. People are always amazed that this simple notebook paper will hold as much wet media as it does, but it does. It's great. These are Wexford brand. I pick these up at my local Walgreens. It's got 80 sheets. It's a wide rule. I have some linked in my Amazon shop that I will link below. They're not Wexford, but they're made in Vietnam, so they have the coated pages. But just know that if you go to your local drugstore or big box store, make sure that it's made in Vietnam. You can get these with graph paper, college ruled paper. I'm sure they probably make them with a dot grid. I don't know. I like the wide rule because I do journal in these. I like to have the lines. So let's get started. So from my scrapbooking days, I have quite a collection of stickers and rub-ons. I kind of keep these gathered up to use for decorating my composition notebook journal. I don't know what I'll do when these are all gone. For now, I will use them. I love them, and I've used these just to remind me of tattoos. I think they're fun. I think this time we'll use this one that says Angel. We'll go from here. I will put this on and speed this up so you don't have to hear me. I will also say that some of these rub-ons are old to the point where they are really difficult to rub. You may see me struggle on some of this. I'll just improvise. So here we go. I always enjoy using masking tape. Randomly on this cover. I will typically add to this as I go along. And then I always, of course, add the date at the end. So this is what this cover is going to look like. I think it's good. I'll add maybe some stickers here, and then I think we'll be good to go. Next up, we are going to cover the inside of this front cover with a piece of scrapbook paper, and then we'll use another piece as a pocket. So we're going to make a pocket where we can put things in. I thought these coordinated well. I love the little bees. I have hoarded this scrapbook paper forever, and it's time to use it. Here we go. I find the best way to do this is to make some marks. Then we will trim. We can go back to using our little X-Acto knife and ruler, or if you have a paper trimmer, use that. I find this is just the easiest way. kind of line this up, get everything straight. I'm going to eyeball this. We may have to trim it up later. I think it'll be fine. We'll flip that over so the little mark that I made is going to be covered up, and I think that's going to be great. We will trim this off once we get it glued in. Before we glue that down, while we're cutting and trimming, we'll go ahead and trim out our little bees here. I want to try to get this bee on here, so I'm going to cut this across down below that. Yes. So let's once again grab our paper cutter. We're going to capture that bee. So let's line this up. And we're going to cut across like that. And we know this is our basic width. It's actually a little bit, we know this is a little bit wider, so we can cheat that back just a hair to about there. And I'm going to trim to about right here. For our pocket. Then we can get our glue out and get this put in. We're going to use tacky glue. I've got these sheets here that I like to use when I'm gluing like this, and I want to try to cover this entire inside cover with the glue, because I don't want this page to go anywhere. My composition notebook journals see a lot of wear and tear, so I don't want this coming out. And I like to take a key card and get that glue moved around. We want it to be sure and get into the edges all the way to the edges of our cover. All right, I think that's covered pretty well. So I'm going to get this stuck right in there. Very good. I'm going to let that dry. And once this is dry, I'm going to glue just around the edges and put that on, and then we'll have our pocket. This is dry, and I am going to just trim that excess away around the edges. I kind of started on it. I'm just lining up my X-Acto right up against that edge, being very careful not to go too fast. Whoops. This is much easier to do when you're pulling this toward you. You have a little bit more control. All right. So we've got that trimmed up. Now we're going to put our little pocket on. I'm going to tell you that you don't want to go all the way up in there. You want to leave just a little bit of a gap there. And then we'll again need to trim this edge once we get this put on. I'm going to use this little needle nose bottle. It's not necessary. You can use the tacky glue. I also find that Fabri-Tac works really well. It's not going to go anywhere. Just use a really good permanent glue. That's the side that we want up. So we're going to leave this blank, and we're just going to go with a line around the very edge. We want a good solid line to make our pocket. You don't want so much that it's going to smush out everywhere, but you want enough to hold. So we're going to go right to the edge there on the bottom, and then we're going to leave just a little bit of a gap there. And push this down, and we'll have our pocket made. I would tell you to put something down in there just to make sure you have enough space for things. You don't want it so tight that it doesn't have room to give a little bit. And I usually put quite a bit in mine. So, you know, just put something down in there. Just make sure you have enough give in that. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, and once that's dry, see how that has a little bit of space there? Once that's dry, then I'll trim the corner. This little composition notebook journal will be ready to start filling. But before I do, I am going to take out some pages. So what I do is I pull one out of this side. This is the first one, so I know this last page is the one that's attached. So I'm going to take it out. See how that easily pulled out? I'm going to go to the middle. And take the middle out. I thought that would be easier than it was. Just don't rip the string, because this is what holds the notebook together. And then I'm going to start taking out about, you know, every 5th or 6th page. You just want to take out enough that it leaves space to fill. This part's a little tricky, but you do want to make sure you get the corresponding page. All right, so then we're going to go this way, take one out. And we'll go to this side, take the corresponding page out. So you see how this works. If you don't take pages out, it's not that big of a deal. And sometimes I take pages out as I go along, and other times I forget. So it's just kind of easier to do this on the front end. And then if you see you're going to be making some thicker pages, you can always go back and take more out. But for now, I think this is going to be good. We'll take one more out right here. Find the corresponding page. Maybe. There we go. Take this one out. All right. I think we're good. We'll let that dry overnight to make sure it gets good and stuck. And I do usually end up putting some tape right there just to keep that down. And we're ready to begin with a new composition notebook journal. I'm so excited. It's always fun to start a fresh notebook. Thanks for watching. Be sure and go back and watch my flip throughs of my completed composition notebook journal to get an idea of what you might want to put in your journal. Mine has changed over the past couple of years that I've been doing this. Just use it for whatever fits your need and makes you happy. Thanks for watching. Be sure and subscribe if you like this video and leave me a comment. Give me the old thumbs up. See you next time.